Welcome back to this episode of BeamNG Roadkill Projects, where we say hello to the good old Restarstow and give it new life with nitrous. The car that can't be killed. Yeah. This, for people who don't know, is the Restarstow, which is a weird name and everything, but I'm cool with that, because this is basically the car that started everything. The first episode where we actually worked on a project car was originally Sean's old Impala knockoff, which is with Grand Marshal. And without that car, we probably wouldn't have the cop car today. But this was episode number 3, which is where we basically took this barn find Barstow that had a 291 swapped into it, and I put a supercharger on it. And, well, they were both pretty wore out, and that 291 blew up. So then for episode 10, when we did the shootout, this thing had completely rebuilt and brand new 291 with a supercharger put back into it. And that engine has been in the car ever since then. If there is a testament of the most reliable car out of anything in the fleet, this is probably the most reliable one. But at the same time, it isn't. I give the cop car that title because I genuinely beat the absolute piss out of that car. And this thing, I don't give it enough credit for what it's worth sometimes. Because the Restarstow, it is actually a really good car. It's got pretty much all rebuilt suspension, I'm pretty sure, underneath it. It had an axle, but then I took that out and put a stock Type 1 back in. It's always been a manual car, too. I think a 5-speed. It was either a 4-speed or a 5-speed. Always had a sport transmission. That's what I remember. And yeah, it's been an awesome car. It wasn't the fastest. It wasn't the quickest. It made 426 horsepower and about like 500 foot-pounds of torque. It was never a quick car, but it did do awesome burnouts. So, why get rid of the 291? Well, it's simple for the fact of I'm never going to change the car, and that 291 has been in this thing for so long. It has suffered so much. It's been overheated, it's been over-revved, it is... that engine is probably on the brink of blowing up as it is. So, I want to put a good engine in this thing. Something that, look at that steering angle. God damn. I didn't know this thing had that much steering angle. Might be because the suspension's all the way up right now. But, yeah, I want to put a better motor in this thing. Now, interesting, at least from the junkyard, this thing has a 423 written onto the white stripe. Also, I struggled to get this skin working for a long time. This has been a plan on the back burner for a little bit, and I finally got everything working with it again. So this is technically the unkillable. This car can't be killed no matter what happens to it. So I'm bringing it back, and I'm going to treat it by putting not a 423 in it. I think I'm going to put, well, it is an original 423 car, and it would be cool to have a 423 back in it. But I want to match the horsepower of the 291. Yeah, I think a 423 would work. I might need to redo the front shocks. Let's throw it in. Let's throw in a 423. Let's see. Engine. Yep, 423 ultra thrust. Let's see how low it sits in the front. It is a heavier engine. Yeah, it might need some heavy-duty shocks on the front. What does it got going? Yeah, just all stock stuff. So maybe some heavy-duty springs in the front, just to help with that extra weight. And kind of... Okay. 5-speed sport. Pretty sure it always had a 5-speed. I'll check and make sure, but I'm pretty sure it always had the 5-speed. Ultralight flywheel because race car. Everything's got to be a race car in some way. Of course, tubular headers. It's going to keep the exhausts because I want this thing to remain a pretty good driver. It's not going to get... it's not going to get a supercharger. But I think a stage 2 performance block in this thing... I want to put a rev limiter in it because I want to rev it to 65 again like I've always. And it might get a little bit of little spritz of nitrous at it too. But yeah, biggest thing is I want to keep it 500, like around the 450 to 500 horsepower range and around the 500 foot-pounds of torque range. I want to keep it around there. Alright, now let's see how she sits with some springs. Oh, much better. Yeah, the heavy-duty springs, good idea. Alright. Anything with the carburetor that I can do? It is a 4-barrel. I'd love to put quad carbs on it, but it's not going to work with the thing. Twin 4-barrels. Hold on a second. Oh, no. That's not going to work with the scoop, unfortunately. Might make some good power, though. You know what? We'll keep it. I hope it works with the scoop, though, because I don't want to cut the hood. Alright, let's see how she drives. It makes some good power, but it doesn't spin the tires as hard as it used to. Ooh. It needs to rev more. It definitely needs to rev more. Ooh, it's pushing a little bit. This thing might not have good tires on it right now. Alright, it spins the tires if you let it get loose. Okay. Quad carbs do good, but this is actually a situation where we are checking the horsepower. Because I wanted to make that horsepower. Ooh, it's making it. It just doesn't have the torque anymore. So 514 horsepower. So we upped the power, but went down on the torque. So what happens if I put that single 4-barrel back on? Well, revving it out a little more might give it some more power. So let's put that single 4-barrel on first. Alright, brings it down to 500. Okay with that, but let's see. Revving it out to 65. Did not change power. It actually starts to lose power past that, so it does need the dual carbs. Basically, yeah, That's how you can kind of dyno test your engines. Right here's peak power, and it starts to lose it past about 6,000. So I want that line to keep going up. Fuel injection would probably make a lot of good horsepower. 527. Yeah, but I'm not happy with that curve. Also not happy with the look of an intake on this thing. It needs to be carbureted. So let's put the twin 4 barrels on. Ooh. Again, that power curve. It makes quicker peak power. Should probably put this on because don't want oiling issues. That's some quad carbs. That's... Oh, those are fuelies, though. They will definitely not work with the hood. But sport quads, were they lower? Look cooler. Don't make that peak power. Okay, so I think the twin 4 barrels are probably going to be the way to go. And I think it needs that little spice of nitrous. Yeah, that'll keep this thing as fast as it used to be. Perfect. Alright, let's see how it feels now. Oh god, how is it? Oh. Okay. Is it actually over revving, or is that just... I think it's highway testing time. Yeah, let's take it out on the highway and see. But also beat the piss out of it as we get it there, of course, too. Because it should have two-step. Lovely. Well, I'd say that was a pretty good pull. Yeah, I'd say that was pretty good. I don't think the engine is committing suicide. That might have just been a bank shifting issue there. It's got a built block in it, so I don't see how it could go wrong revving the 65. Alright, well, let's get it back, throw the hood on it, and take it to the drag strip and see how fast this thing is. I think that's a perfect way to test out this new engine. And hopefully not blow the car up. If this thing blows up, I will be very sad. Alright, so the race that we're doing is up against the Road Sport, which I think is just the perfect kind of benchmark car for cars like this. We need to see how good of a burnout this thing can still do, though. So, second gear, and let's dump it. Oh boy. Let's give this thing a second to kind of cool down. It's not going to cool down unless it maybe... Spin the water pump faster. Oh no. We might be aborting a pass. I don't want to ruin the new motor. It's too hot. Still beat it though. I'm on a 12.7. Overheating. I'm gonna let it roll. Try to cool this thing. Oh yeah, look at that. Just letting it roll. It should have a good radiator in it, but this is also the original radiator. Alright, pass number 2. I didn't really want to do 2 passes, but I can't let this thing not try to go A to B. Alright, a lot better. It's not overheating on the burnout this time. Oh, motherfucker, I missed the shift? How? Oh, it's overheating. 1173. Oh my god. How did I miss a shift? What? How? 11.7 at 117 miles an hour, which is impressive. That's not full kill, though. That's letting off because it's overheating and missing a shift. Oh, that's fairly sad. And... 1173 while missing a shift and letting off because it's about to overheat. We're not going to be able to do a burnout because the car's too hot. Well, that sucks. Well, there we go, everybody. Plan to put a smaller engine in this, but the 423, it did everything I wanted it to. The Restarstow's back, and it's ready for December. If everybody remembers, in December of last year, we did a big Christmas celebration, and that is currently in the works. Because right now, I am going to use this to basically tell you all that a majority of the shit that you are going to be seeing the next couple of months for BeamNG is going to be heavily pre-recorded. Because A, there's an update around the corner, and B, I have to get the fleet up and running for a big Christmas event. And also a Christmas special is going to be coming out for Christmas, so stay tuned for that. So I'm aiming to get a bunch of that recorded and done now so that I don't have to come back and do it later. But yeah, you guys are basically going to be getting a lot of cool Roadkill stuff coming up over the next few months. I'm going to be resurrecting a lot of project cars, but all the main episodes, they're all going to be pre-recorded ahead of time, and some of these projects episodes are going to be heavily pre-recorded ahead of time. But you might not see many new builds on this season because I've just been pre-recording to get ahead of myself for other things that we're doing with Minecraft, so I can lighten the load. But yeah. So pretty much a lot of the stuff that you're going to see going forward is going to be heavily pre-recorded for what I'm going to be doing in December with a big Christmas New Year's celebration, because December's kind of a fun month. Christmas, all that good stuff. And you guys are well deprived of a special with this series. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Hopefully you loved that the Restarstow is back. And stay tuned for other Lost projects to be coming back. And stay tuned for a Christmas special and some cool announcements coming up soon. So hopefully you have enjoyed. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.